It is 7:01 on Thursday, January 22nd. Sorry, I don't have a copy of the agenda because my printer broke. And I will call the Finance Committee meeting to order. I have with me in the room from the Finance Committee, Dean Nahadas, John Croft, Andy Olderman, Maury Creighton, Peter Twining, and myself, Sarah Melish. I expect that Morris will be joining us shortly. In addition, I have Ann Harrison from the Select Board and Andrea Mainfield, the Finance Director. And so I think we're going to change the order of what we're doing. And we're going to start with Council on Aging. And we have Mary Minor, right?
Yep.
Here is our new Council on Aging Director.
Welcome, Mary.
Thank you. And then it's on the job. Here's my budget.
Yeah, so what we want to do is we want to go through the operations and the capital budget. I don't know if you have anything on the capital budget.
Not yet.
And then we'll take a vote on the operations budget, okay? Now, you had sent us an email, Andrea, explaining some changes. Could you just explain those to us?
Walk us through. So when Mary and I were actually meeting about the budget, we went over the salaries and realized that the director's salary did not have a COLA included for July 1st. And the senior clerk, the assistant in the office, is going up to step 4 in the union contract because she's reached 10 years. So that's those adjustments. And then speaking with Mary, she has currently 2 applicants for senior work off, potentially a third. The amount has gone up to $2,000 for that. So we only needed 6,000. So I was able to reduce that line.
So can you explain the senior work off we're paying people?
Kind of.
Okay.
I need it. It's one of those things where I need an appropriation
Okay.
for it, but they don't actually get paid. But because of the IRS, it's income to them. We have to put it through payroll. So I need an appropriation for it. And what we do is we kind of like pay the town back and abate their taxes.
Okay, that's what I
So
thought.
that's kind of how that works. And that's why that shows up there.
Okay.
I'm confused what the position is. Senior work off?
Senior work off. So seniors who qualify can come and volunteer
Thank
to
you.
the town and they get a real estate tax abatement. But we have to take the money from somewhere.
Got it.
Yes,
In order to get it into the payroll system.
exactly.
So they don't
Yeah.
receive any money?
Yes.
They just.
Thank you. It was the work off
Yes.
part that I wasn't sure about.
Yeah. And then the expenses, we did reduce the gasoline oil a little bit just because we have the 2 electric vehicles now.
Take my seat on.
Good. Right here.
We're on the Council on Aging budget. We changed the order.
Yeah. It's 62. I said the page numbers, right?
Or complains he can't read them.
No, I need my microscope.
I do that a lot. Sorry.
Did you give him one of these things too?
I didn't.
I have a stash here.
Yeah, here we go.
That's why you can't be distributed. So we're on the Council on Aging budget, and Andrea's explained that there's changes in the salary lines. Because there wasn't a COLA included for the director, and the senior clerk is going up to step 4 because she has 10 years of service. And Mary Minor is here, who's the new director of Council on Aging. This is Gar Morse.
How do you do?
And as I was explaining the senior work off, we were able to reduce because we have 2 potentially 3 applicants, and they're eligible for up to $2,000 each for real estate abatement.
And is there a deadline on the applications?
I believe so. I'm not sure what that, yeah.
Well, I don't know off the top of my head, but,
Could you speak up more, Mary?
I
feel like they haven't
Oh,
fully-
sorry, I don't know off the top of my head, but, without really looking into it. I know we have 2 people that are active and have been involved with this program before.
I feel like they have until the end of this fiscal year, because it goes to
Right,
the next fiscal
right,
year.
but the fiscal year was my experience in Nahant was the fiscal year was different than it ran from, September 1st to August 30th.
Yes.
On the calendar year, so, I'm not sure if it's still, I don't, yeah. But nonetheless, we do have 2 people that are active, and maybe a third, so, this budget is more than fitting.
Okay, because originally there was 10,000.
Yeah,
yeah.
Got it,
Yes.
okay. So we're covering 3,
Right,
okay.
Yeah. But sometimes we don't know,
Yeah.
you know, how many we have until later.
right.
Yep.
And it's on my list to, explore with some seniors in town, as I go along.
Yep.
So, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I experienced it in Nahant. It's a great program. People were very happy with, getting a reduction on their tax bill. So I think, it's great.
And we were talking today too about like, different departments, and it is helpful for departments also.
Right, yes, yeah. I mean, it gives, different departments, a break and, someone to help out. And, it's a win-win. Either
I've
way.
heard positive things.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
People,
it's been great.
Right.
yeah, they really contribute.
I have the tax prep program coming up, and we have one of the senior workup people who will assist with getting people in and out and all that. So that's a great help. So
Do you have sort of a minimum number of hours you hope people will do as a threshold? And I'm just sort of thinking about your time
yeah,
filing all this. If somebody works for 2 hours, it's quite a burden for.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
To be
offhand.
determined.
I mean, I know it can vary. I think,
I think it's up to 175 hours.
yeah, I
over
was
the
gonna
year.
say at least 125, so it may have increased.
Increase.
Yeah,
we have to double check that.
within the time frame.
So
Yeah.
the credit they
Okay.
receive depends on the hours they
Right.
put in.
Yeah, and we usually try and encourage them to do the total number of hours. And what we do is we don't do like include them on payroll every week. We wait until they reach that maximum threshold and then kind of do the abatement and everything all at the same time.
Great.
Peter?
Mary or Andrea, does this comply with the state's requirement for the library budget? Are we in, I know there's a
This is Council
formula.
on Aging.
Council on Aging.
Oh, Council Aging, excuse me, I'm in the wrong zone. Sorry.
It's the blue zone.
That library.
Steve,
So I have a tough, big level question, in that looking at the budget, it hasn't gone up like the other ones. And I'm concerned, are we just more efficient or are we cutting services?
Again, I'm here just 3 weeks, so I'm not
Okay.
even aware of what is viable and what isn't.
Yeah.
My goal is not to cut services at all.
Right.
But I need to understand what is working for people and what isn't.
Sure.
So, yeah,
We understand.
yeah, I mean, I would say in response to your question, I don't know yet. And if anything, I would say let's put a pause on it and work together in the next year to see what is working and what isn't, and then we'll go from there.
Just
mean-
a general statement, this budget has been, it's been small for a number of years, and the people it services are the ones that paid for the very building.
Right, yes, of course, right. And that's the goal, is to maybe, is to find ways to support all of that in them. And so,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
So how many vans do we have now?
We have, we have
Another.
two gas vans and we have an electric van and I think another electric van.
Yeah, we have 2 electric vans and.
Yeah,
gas.
right. So, the electric vans have not been used in the time I've been there, or if they have, it's been very, minimal. Because the charge is, it tends to run out in the cold air a lot quicker, so, you know, but, you know, it's something that the drivers, you know, and are happy to use, so, you know. That's what we have available right now.
We've been in talks with the state about the efficiencies of those electric vehicles.
Yeah, they're
as well.
aware.
They're aware that.
Yeah, they are. Actually,
Charging
I'm
issues.
looking at some of the information in the files. I noticed that that they have been notified and I have a, you know, I worked with the DOT, the Department of Transportation representative when I was in the hunt, so I have that connection and I plan to follow up with him.
You have a lot on your to-do list.
Huh?
You have a lot on your to-do list.
Yeah, you know, it's okay.
Yep, yep.
It makes my day
Good.
busy.
So what's the usage like on the vans?
I'm sorry, say that.
What's the usage like on the vans? Do they
Oh,
run like
yeah,
every
every day,
or-
it's, we have, it just varies each day. I'm staggered by that, to tell you the truth. I mean, my experience in the hunt, and again, I don't mean to compare, but we had a lunch program, and so we were kind of limited, and we would pick up people in the town, and we would take them off island, as they say. We went to, you know, market basket runs and that sort of thing. But the idea of medical appointments and even just, you know, things like getting your hair done, or we have a couple of people who go to employment, very part-time, but it makes a world of difference for them. So, you know, it is very busy. And then in the middle of all that, we do have outings that people are going to, you know, tomorrow they're going out for lunch. So that's a van that's dedicated to that event exclusively. So I think it's great, you know, that we provide as much service as we can, especially here, you know, so it's good. And people seem to like it. We do have frequent flyers, I have to say. But, and so that's the concern for me, like, how can we work around that for those who don't call us on a regular basis, so, anyway.
Are we using the CATA, the CATA service?
I haven't, actually, I do have a meeting with them next week to find out what, you know, what we can and can't do together.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's again on my list.
Is
I
there
was
like
just
a,
gonna say to John's point, I know a couple people in town who have special needs who are
Yes,
younger.
yep.
I mean, they're like 30.
Yeah.
You know, or almost 30 and use it for employment to get to
Yeah.
places. And
And-
if
yeah.
they didn't have that, they couldn't do
No,
that.
and
work.
I'm well aware, I've met
It's really good.
over the phone anyway, some of them, so.
Yeah.
So it's coming along, you know, and we'll just,
is there like a list of allowed van uses? Or you just kind of do whatever they ask?
no, I mean, we're limited in terms of real travel. We don't, like somebody called the other day, they wanted to go to Salem Hospital and, you know, the line was, that is a really long trip, you know,
Right.
from here. In looking at what services we provide in terms of, you know, the priorities for medical, employment, shopping, you know, food shopping and a trip to, you know, even, you know, like Walmart and those places. So, do we restrict? I think that, no, I mean, no.
We try to
But,
accommodate.
but I think, you know, we'd have to take it on a case by case basis in terms of, you know, how realistic we can really accommodate that, you know?
Should we create a distinct policy on terms of, for the breadth of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that you bring this up. I'm learning more and more. I want to talk to the board about where are the policies, if there are policies, and what we need to do together to develop them further down the road. So, in terms of an actual policy process, I haven't come across it yet, but I'm still looking. Because I know it's important. But my plan is to talk to the COA board and see what they recommend, and or maybe they can enlighten me as to what was in place previous and what we need to work towards together. So,
Any more questions on Council on Aging? I checked the capital list and there was nothing on the capital list, so it's just the operating
yeah,
budget.
right.
So do I have a motion to approve the 234,068 budget for Council on Aging?
Second.
Thank you.
Any discussion? Vote. Dean,
Yes. Yes.
John, Andy,
Yes.
Gar,
Yes.
Woody,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
and Sarah votes yes. Thank you.
Now,
Thank you.
one thing in the, some of the emails, I think Tony said that, the future senior center will be a large topic of discussion. It will require
Yes.
additional operating funds, but that he wants to talk about that later. So I don't know if that makes this contingent upon that.
No, it wouldn't impact this year's, it wouldn't impact the fiscal year 27 budget.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
but yeah, we'll have that.
Facility debate. Is that with facilities? Do you-
No, I think we would have probably discussed it tonight, but Tony's on vacation, so.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Mary.
Thank you.
Thanks. And welcome aboard.
Good luck.
I'm gonna make the song, I guess. Goodbye. Stay safe, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Next, we were gonna do the health department, and Wendy Hansberry is on Zoom, and it's the next page.
Good.
Oh, I'm sorry, the prior page, 60. My stuff is apparently going backward. So the salaries look relatively consistent. It's no change, just COLA increases. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. I guess there were two things I wanted to discuss, and that's the hazardous waste and the professional services. So Wendy, can you explain to us which inspections are outsourced? So they'd be professional services?
Sure. So professional services once encompass the inspectional services that I perform in their entirety. So the food, the housing, and the septic. Now it is covering the professional services provided by BioMarine laboratories. They do beach water testing for us during the summer season. It includes the Sharps pickup, so the company that does the Sharps pickup, and it also includes sorry, I am completely blanking on the third thing. Rabies. So if there's any animals that need to be tested for communicable diseases such as rabies, that also comes out of there. That variable, there's no way to tell this year. I think we had 2. Previous years we've had none. Other years we've had more than that. So
you're doing all of the inspections? Is that
yes,
correct?
all of the core inspections for the Board of Health are all done by myself. Yes.
The health, like grocery stores, and restaurants.
Yep, pools, restaurants, the septic, so all of the perk testing and the I will say that the tobacco control is done by a regional collaboration. They're state trained, so they come in for to review that. But other than that, all of the inspections are done by me locally.
And you inspect the houses when issues are raised.
Yes, yes, we do.
You have a little kitten behind you there. It keeps popping its head up.
Oh, I'm fostering 8 kittens.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know. I had no idea, but they're a joy.
Um, anybody else have questions on the professional services?
How long have you been, how long has you been there since 2025?
When
No,
did you
so
start?
I started in November of 2022 in Manchester.
Okay, okay, so you've been here a while. I would expect the amount of effort for ocean testing to go up, given the popularity of the beach and the problems we've been having.
Um, so beach so beach water testing is dictated by the state. We partly covered by state funds, the actual testing, but the collection and any exceedances are covered by the local budget. And exceedances can be very variable, often weather dependent.
Yes, I understand.
I think the Harbor Advisory Committee is going to advise more testing.
Oh, okay.
So that might be a separate item that we're happy to collaborate with, but would need a set of funds dedicated to like harbor water quality testing.
Out of the harbor funds. Out of the
I-
water funds.
We're always willing to work with people and try to find that money.
Um, so the other thing is I noticed that the hazardous waste collection expense is pretty high, and we only collect, what, 1650 in fees?
So if I
Yeah, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. I was just going to give like a little bit of history and then sort of bring it up. So we just started collecting fees last year was the first year to do it. So that is what we collected. It's a flat fee of $25. And the the collection of hazardous waste is necessary for a lot of reasons. The state requires that, it be collected, that we as the town end up being responsible for it. And I can't express enough how important it is in the long run to be proactive and set up events where people can dispose of this versus having it end up in the solid waste stream or on the side of the road or ending up at your transfer station, which is what happens when people don't have, an available event to go to. We also participate in reciprocity, which means that people who live in our town are able to pay to go to other towns and their events, the same as other towns can pay to participate in our event, which is really beneficial. The reason that it's going up and that there's such a jump this year is the state contracts that have governed it are being renewed. Well, we hope they're being renewed. It's extremely expensive to, appropriately collect and dispose of these hazardous waste materials. So the disposal fees for the companies have increased. Their transportation and collection fees have increased, and they're passing that cost on to us. We don't know what this year or the next 3 years state contract fees are going to be. We all anticipate, and by all I mean everybody in the state expect it to be a significant jump from previous years. So that's
So
kind of
could
where
we
we're at.
look at the fees?
Yes, and I just want to mention about the fees this past year, when we were looking at, surrounding communities and what they charge, we were very like, we kind of took what they were charging and used it for what we were charging.
I remember like 10 years ago, I cleaned out like my basement. We reused, you'd be surprised what was in there. And when back then, it was like they came to your house and you told them kind of what categories of stuff you had and kind of how much, and then you paid by kind of a la carte.
Yeah, I was gonna say
It was more than $25 on pasta.
yes, and I would say like, oh, I feel like it's changed almost like every year
Yeah,
since I've been here.
Me too.
Sometimes they'll be like, no, we cannot do any curbside pickup. No, we can't do like residential signups. You have to come to the, back of town hall or, transfer station or wherever. So we're kind of like at the mercy of the vendors.
That's what they're doing, so.
Essentially, yeah, that, they're saying, we can set up here for the day, or we can do this and we can do that, and we can collect X, Y, and Z. So it's kind of where
Do we have
there's less
any-
and less companies that are doing it too.
Any feeling of what level of town participation in the program? Is there any indication of?
How many
Yeah, it's-
people?
Yeah.
That's various. It depends on whether people have, there's people who move. So people who participate in it are generally those who are moving, those who are helping their senior family members clean up or clean out, and those who do it repeatedly, like they're the ones who are, every year or two they get rid of their fertilizer or what have you. So participation varies, but I'd say you get a good turnout at every event. There's not downtime during the event. It's a very steady, people coming through.
Are there requests for recycling that we cannot meet? Are there significant things we cannot accommodate in the program that you can identify?
Well,
So I was going to say that is more of a conversation to have, if not with or entirely by the DPW. I know for us, we generally contract with Clean Harbors, which is a hazardous waste collection company that takes a lot of different types of materials. I think the only things they don't really take are, electronics. We have in town different programs, such as we dispose of medical sharps. The police department disposes of medications. We take mercury containing thermometers, the Board of Health does, and the DPW takes waste oil and fluorescent lights, at least the compact ones, and batteries, rechargeables, and lithium based, not alkaline batteries can go in the regular trash, believe it or not. So and those are all considered hazardous wastes. There may be some other things that I'm not coming up with right this second, but Manchester does a very good job trying to be a complete, provide full services. There are a lot of changes in the work. There's a lot of things that have come through, the textiles, mattresses, things like that. And I would definitely want to have this conversation with a DPW representative because they would have more information. So.
well, that was the question. So the puzzling thing is the disparity between the 11,000 and the 1,650, as you brought up, because the service that was described, I thought wasn't subsidized that much. I thought it was. So what I'm wondering is does this number include like the DBW forces, all their, and like the
No.
town hall, and
No.
they all have their own hazardous waste budgets?
Oh,
Or is this?
Oh,
like town-wide hazardous.
So, no, this is for the event at which Clean Harbors is contracted to come and take, like oil-based paints, pesticides, chemicals, things of that nature.
But the residents pay a subsidy when they drop it off, or is it just a?
Pay $25.
Pay $25, and that just started this
Oh.
past year. We were trying to, I believe the Board of Health voted to do that because they were trying to still make it accessible, but to cover some of the expanding cost. Because we pay for the dumpster, we pay for the police detail. Fortunately, we get the property for free. DPW let us use their space this year, so often it's in the back parking lot. So there are, but yes, that requested funds and what we've previously budgeted for it has covered just the Board of Health's hazardous waste event.
And it's usually twice a year that we have that.
It has been in the past, with no way to afford to do that this year. It was
Once a year.
it was the entire the budget line item was eaten up by just one event.
Okay.
Lloyd?
I think one of the challenges here is, this is important to do, but it's one event at $11,000, bringing in $1,650. It serves 60 people. If the prices are gonna go up, this is gonna get to be a bigger red hole here. And the question is, can we get more people to participate and come to this? We've done it, and it seems like you have your 10-minute slot or your 15-minute slot, you get there on time, and if you were late, you move quickly. But there doesn't look like there's a lot of bandwidth to take 60 people visiting and turn it to 120 or 180 or 200.
It costs more too, because the people who are hauling the waste are gonna charge you by the pound or ton or whatever.
Oh, I thought the 11K was kind of a fixed number, but
Imagine the waste people.
No, so so how the companies work is there's a setup fee, and that is a minimum that includes a certain number of pounds of waste, or car loads. They charge, or they have in the past charged by carload, and they'll do a quarter car, a half car, and a full car. I think the full car this past year was $68.
Well, okay. That's
And a half car was like $35 or $45. So we are still paying for the people who are going through. That $25 fee is just starting to cover it, but it's based on how much goes through the event. I know that Ellen works very hard to get neighbors to cooperate with each other and, bring it in. If there's just a small amount, she'll try to pair them up with another person going. And so, I mean, there's a lot of effort to reduce the number of cars and make it like a full carload versus, quarter or half cars. I mean, it's certainly a discussion once we.
I'd like to move on to the medical supplies line.
Okay,
You lost $2,000 in your medical supplies. Was there a replacement for that? Because in 2025, we were even over what you requested. So, what's going on there? Are we covering that service somewhere else now?
We are.
So,
Wendy, if you want me to talk about that.
yeah, well, it's the revolving fund. Please do.
It is. So we set up a health revolving fund, if you recall a few years ago. And so we get reimbursement for the flu vaccines that we provide. As we set up,
Insurance carriers, right?
and then that we started putting that into a health revolving fund, but you know, we hadn't built that up yet. So we were budgeting it, but now we're at the point where like we're getting some money in, and so now we're able to offset that expense with that revolving fund money. But we're not quite there yet to, you know, just make it a whole in and out quite yet. So
If we
that's
go
what
over this year, it'll just come out of the general fund.
it'll come up out of the revolving fund.
Revolving.
Yes, yeah.
But there'll be a way to do that. They won't say we can't give a Band-Aid anymore because we hit our budget for the year.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Only if you come in, Dee.
No, I'm asking for more money from the health department. I think this is resident sensitive and it's been neglected for years.
Any other questions on the health department operating budget?
I'd just like to see the fees be raised for the
As of
hazardous waste. That seems like a huge subsidy.
It is, yeah. And we were trying to be, you know, we have that reciprocity agreement, so we just wanted to be comparable to what other communities are charging, and that's what they were charging, so.
We charge like $50 for a mattress. Used to be 150, and didn't it come down to 50?
I don't think they.
Yeah, I'm not sure that that's.
Yeah, they do.
Do
It's
they?
a third-party vendor.
Yeah, there's like 2 places in the state that recycle.
You have to go to the DPW and get a plastic bag and pay.
Yeah, they come.
But it's, I mean, a mattress seems to be more expensive to dispose of than hazardous waste, which seems a little out of sync to me.
It does, yeah, and
I think that they're actually fairly comparable because they're both pretty difficult to get rid of, but and the mattress is a DPW topic. So a little bit.
We're just talking about it because it's what we think residents would be willing to pay.
Right.
yes.
Right. We
Yes,
also
because
want to
Someone
make
else
sure
used it.
that it's accessible to those who are, you know, need to be able to afford getting rid of hazardous waste. We don't want to deter people
Right.
because it'll end up on the street. Or
Mr. Rogers?
Yeah, I'm Rick Rogers, 82 Old Essex Road. That was gonna be my point, right? If it cost me $25 to throw out a $10 can of paint, I'm gonna put it in the town dumpster.
Right, I agree.
Yeah, there's a couple of air conditioners on the side of the road on
Yeah.
Main Street,
Right.
before the transfer station.
I get one.
It's just something for the board to consider. It's push me, pull you. right?
Yep. Anything else? I'll take a motion to approve the operating budget for the health department in the amount of $214,013. Peter moves,
Second.
Maury seconds. Any discussion? Vote, Dean,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Andy,
Yes.
Gar,
Yes.
Maury,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
and Sarah votes yes. Thank you very much, Wendy.
thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Wendy.
Enjoy your
Thank you.
kidneys.
I like the one that kept picking up its head.
All right. Well, that's all right. Good.
We now will move on to the library,
Yay.
page 64.
Sure.
That's what the index says.
Yeah.
It would shoot the next page, shouldn't it?
Well, we were on 62, we went back to 60, and so now it's.
64.
Yeah.
I know you all received an email, I think, late today from Sarah Chair, that you were unable to write what she did for remarks, which kind of repeated some of what I had written to y'all as well. And so I think we wanted to just put forth why we had requested that salary increase number. Which would provide us with increased abilities in a way that we feel is very fiscally responsible. And we do understand it's a tough budget year. But these are not raises, these are, these are, this would be increasing the amount of hours that are full-timers.
Can't hear.
We have 3 of them, so. We have 3 full-timers that work at the library and this events. We made some changes to other parts of our operating budget that would offset some of that increased request, which is why we thought it was still a good reason to put forth this initiative at this time. And we have had quite a number of years of asking to be open on summer hours, and that would also give us some help in being able to provide that service as well. But I would be happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, I think one of the challenges we have this year is, as of today, I think we have a shortfall of about 732,000, a gap that we're trying to close, primarily due to the school budget. And one of the things we're hoping to do this year is to put 420,000 into OPEB, which would fully fund it, which would mean next year we can pay over 400,000 of retiree salaries, retiree health insurance premiums out of the trust fund, which frees up a lot of money next year. This year is really tight. And that's why we're trying to, keep things as tight as we can, and would request that you make that request next year. That's.
Am I wrong? I'm not seeing a huge.
It's
jump
not a
here.
huge amount.
Yeah.
It's the 800,000. But you're 8,000, sorry.
Yeah.
Split the difference, 400,000 is fine.
It's likely that we're asking the town for a substantial increase in taxes through debt exclusions and tax increases. And now you're talking about adding Saturday services in the summers at the library.
Mhm.
It's the optics of it.
Sarah, I know it seems optimistic, but is there any opportunity to look at it later when we have a better sense of all of the numbers? I know we're fairly early in this process. Or is that not just simply
You're kicking.
pie in the sky?
I think it's pie in the sky. I mean, I think that, it's very possible we're looking at it over.
I think there's tough decisions down the road, whether we want to match that grant for the harbor, whether we want to do this culvert stuff. So I would much rather see the money go into the library and summer hours than that whole thing. So, I'd rather, if the rest of the town is getting,
Pro quo.
okay, well, if the rest of the town is getting 2.5% raises, why isn't the library employees?
They are,
Yeah.
they are,
They are, okay.
yeah,
No, it's an increase in hours, not.
Um,
right.
Okay.
It's increasing the service level.
Mhm, mhm.
Right, and I was gonna say, to do the 3.5% raise, why don't we wait for because there's gonna be negotiations with a union next year over that? So
This year.
So,
For this to happen, it would have to go with negotiations.
right, so whatever we don't do now, we'll do then. So, yeah, but the library is a low budget, I think it's neglected
So,
What's happened
for
there?
other business interests.
Yes, indeed.
just a clarification then. So the additional request, that 8656, that relates to the additional hours and the Saturday hours as well?
And the town administrator did not recommend it.
He didn't forward that. Okay, and so
Right.
we're not seeing the effect of that requested change
No.
in the numbers.
So that's what the discussion is that the library requested it and the town administrator did not recommend it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like the 2 cents I would throw out there are that, it seems kind of, the OPEB is a discretionary decision. you know, we're on a good track with that, whether we take on the whole thing this year or parse it out to this year or next year. And I just,
That's
Whether-
not the only thing though.
I understand that, but whether we're talking about the library or other departments in town, I'm not saying we don't, you know, try to be somewhat careful, but I also wouldn't want to just, you know, completely mortgage everything for the sake of, you know, what the school is asking for. So that's my thought.
And I might say that there's some efficiency of service, given that, you know, one of the things we do in the library is to help the school provide service in education, both in our own space, but also we go to the schools sometimes. The middle high school does not have a school librarian. We just did a library card drive over there recently. We try to teach them how to use databases that they don't have access to through school because they don't have a full-time librarian. So, I mean, these are efficiencies of service that we feel like we can, you know, assist with, but we need professional librarians to be working enough to be able to go there and give that service. And it's not on the budget sheet, but if you want to know the overall effect, it's an overall 2.57 increase for the entire library budget, not just the salaries part, with that 8,000 included. So it is low. It is not a huge ask. I think, you know, we did well in trying to stay within that.
Oh, Guy, did you have a question?
Yeah, I'm kind of with Andy and Dean. I'm an ex-English teacher in a high school. I think more time that children spend in libraries is good. I think $8,000, a lot of money, but I would spend it. That's my feeling.
Okay.
That's why I asked if we could look at that, if we can keep this open. I know you don't.
No, I think we need to make the decision tonight.
Okay.
One way or the other is my opinion. We can't be kicking stuff.
My question about library compliance budget with the state, are we, none of those concerns or?
We are okay the way that they are crunch
I know they-
numbers.
What's the books and magazines requirement?
19% of the average of the previous 3 years allocation.
But remind me, is that a state or criteria?
The state requirement to be a certified library, which gives us state aid, access to grant money, our delivery services.
Does that impact whether you can be part of the Merrimack Valley loaning thing?
Yes, you would, yeah, if you're not certified.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to have any of the services they provide.
So could I make a motion that we approve the budget with the 8656 historic?
Let's finish our discussions.
Oh,
Okay. I want to hear from everyone on the board, Dee, not just what you want. Maury, what's your sense?
I think library is important and I think library hours are important and I would support Saturday hours. I guess one of the questions I have is when the library is open, how many people are on staff? And is that mandatory or is that, I mean, I guess where I'm going with this is, could you have one person say less during the weekdays at certain times that would allow for weekend coverage?
So we do absolutely have various staffing levels at different times during the day and the week. We do not go below 2. We don't open the library if we don't have 2 people to staff it. Right now, Saturday schedules during the school year are 2 people on a Saturday. Evenings often have 2. Bare bones staffing like that is great till someone gets sick, and we do have some pieces for that. But that's why there is some redundancy built into the schedule. So it is possible to cobble out those hours to open on Saturday. I'm not going to say that's not possible. I'm just going to say that right now, our full-timers, our programming, they're stretched, right? So our programming has gone up 118%. in the last few years. I just did numbers for 2025. We did 100 more programs, served, I think, close to 1,000 more people than we did last year in programming alone. And that's done by, you know, most of it's done either by professionals, but a professional librarian will run many of those programs. So it's just tough, and we want to keep providing service. We keep hearing from the community that, you know, Saturday hours, yeah, a lot of people do go out of town. There's a lot of people on vacation. There's no doubt that the numbers drop, but there's no weekend hours in summer right now. And I feel like that is a real downfall for kids who don't go away, for parents who work and are trying to get into the library just like once a week even, to get books, to, you know, bring their kids to the library and get the services that we provide. So I do think it's, yeah, it's possible to do it, but it would be better, not only for summer, but overall, we could make this increase.
And then one other question, and this doesn't want to come across the wrong way, but the town charges, you know, the school district for a safety a safety officer on site. DPW goes back and forth. Have you ever thought about saying, hey, we'll do this and that and this and that for the school, but maybe something comes back to the library from the school? I don't know if that's even feasible.
Yeah, you want to put something under the school budget so you can.
Well,
yeah,
we're benchmarking dog licenses across the board. I mean, they're looking for dollars, so I toss it out there as a question. So
Would it be our portion of the school budget, since it's the library, or would it be the school budget?
I think it would go 1/3, 2/3, wouldn't it?
I'd like to add that this amount of $8,600 is the amount that the Parks and Recs is requesting for a sign for Pine Street Field.
Now you also receive donations from Friends of the Library, correct?
Yes.
Is that a fund that you tend to spend fully each year? I mean, do you tend to spend what you get in from that, and what types of things do you spend it on?
Most of the requests we make to the Friends of the Library are for programming expenses,
Okay.
because there's not much in the municipal budget, understandably, for programming, and we have a lot of
Yeah.
expenses. Sometimes they will purchase equipment, or even like when I know when the children's room was done many years ago, they did furniture in there. So I think that, you know, we can make big asks of them, but it's, we do not spend that every year. We do not, no.
And do you have any sense of what the fund is worth?
Well, yes, I do, but they are so they have been working on trying to put together a budget, because they don't really work with a budget.
Okay.
So I keep asking them what the budget is, and so now they're trying to develop a budget that they can say to us, here's what you have to spend. And
On various categories. Yeah, okay.
I will add that their philosophy is to spend on things like programming and furnishings, et cetera, and not operations, right?
Mhm.
I mean, it seems to me that if we have a budget that's essentially zero in real terms, 2.5% is without inflation, and they actually expanded services, that's a pretty good deal,
Okay.
right?
that's what we thought.
So that would increase by adding the 8656. That would increase the total budget to 584,162. I've added it up twice. Hopefully that's correct. Do I have a motion to approve the library budget in the amount of 584,162?
So moved.
Gar moves, Andy seconds. Any discussion? Vote, Gar,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Andy,
Yes.
Sarah votes yes. You get your hours.
Appreciate it.
And to your point, Sarah, concerning optics, I think that there's a nice story to tell when there's shortfalls in the community center and there's no senior center yet, et cetera, struggling to keep the school lights on, that for pretty short money here, we're adding a service back. Right?
Yep.
When was the service last available?
In the summer,
Yeah,
I don't know whether it's up to them.
I thought-
No one, not since I've been here, but.
I heard there were donations to open it in the summer. Is that only during the
think-
year?
No, so I think the donation piece was, there was a time when Sundays were paid through.
Yes.
donation,
And that wasn't that long
And
ago.
that wasn't that long ago.
Okay.
Only a decade or so.
No, it was more recently than that.
I was on the board at the time, then I was off the board for a time, now I'm back, so that long ago.
And that was only during the school year or year round? The
It's during the
Sunday?
school year, yeah.
Okay.
That's about half,
okay,
a
so,
little bit more.
so we shouldn't say that we are putting back a service.
No,
This is a new one.
new one.
Okay, yeah.
Do we want to talk about the capital budget or you want that another time?
Is there a capital budget for library? I don't think so.
Well, yeah.
300.
Bathroom.
What?
The ADA bathrooms?
Oh, that's right. Yes, we want to talk about the ADA bathroom.
Yeah. Can I ask about the capital exclusion part? Wasn't that the capital exclusions funded by reduced bond payments?
No, a capital exclusion is merely a cash override rather than a bond override. It's a 1 year override rather than for the life of the bond.
And we keep running the 660, it doesn't
Well,
change the rate.
we're dropping it down. Okay, gotta find capital now.
It's
78.
78.
Oh,
And then I'm back, but I can't find them. Okay, so it's my understanding that the cost that's come in for the ADA bathroom is less than the 300,000. That's correct.
It is, and it's
70.
here, by the way.
Nate, would you like to explain the ADA, the library ADA bathroom for us? The
Yep.
project.
Yep, so Nate DeRozier, DPW. So this year we funded the design, which we have a 75% design set that will quickly go to 100. We've provided those comments. So the project will be ready to go out to bid pretty much, well before town meeting. The cost estimates that are coming in right now are about $150,000 for the actual bathroom and then the associated improvements on the office side of that. The other thing we have to factor in is that we're going to be moving Cynthia up to the archive upstairs. So we have to make accommodations, to make that an office that she can work out of. That's going to include replacing the existing mini split unit. Those units are, I believe, close to 20 years old and only provide cooling. So we'd be looking to replace that unit and the one that's in the existing director's office are on the same and do a new system there so we can provide that. So I factored that into it along with electrical, tele data improvements for the office to get Ethernet up there. Furniture, that type of stuff. So I'm about 225, I believe, is what was carried.
Okay.
And is
So
that
we
gonna
can
be
use that.
is that a permanent office or is that a temporary office?
It'll be the permanent office for the director.
Okay.
I mean, essentially, yes, unless.
But you're using the direct-
Building is.
Excuse me.
Yeah, unless you change.
Down the
footprint
road,
of the
then
building,
yes. It would be.
Can somebody, do you have pictures or something, Nate,
Yeah.
that would show us where this bathroom is?
Yep, absolutely. If I can just share my screen.
Okay, you should be all set.
All right.
Because we've seen other bathroom designs.
Is it up?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So this is the general overview page. It is a full plan set by the consultant that has done all of the assessments on it as of late. So we have basically we're taking the existing director's office, Cynthia's office, which also serves as where they bring their books in and do a lot of that. I guess Cynthia, you can probably explain it better than I can.
Technical services processing.
It's to the left of the desk, is that correct?
It is.
Yep, yeah, right. It's this area. If you can see my,
Right in front of the
When you
door.
go in the front door, it's immediately
Yep.
to the right.
Okay,
and so
Okay.
then this area is,
front of the conference room.
yep, is going to be the ADA bathroom.
That's the service. desk.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
So basically we're taking half of the existing director's office, a little more than half, and making it the bathroom. And it's the portion that's off of the front room here. So this will be the door into the ADA bathroom. And then you can just see the other, shots inside of the existing office and then out into the lobby from the office. So this is the general layout plan for the proposed bathroom with the universal changing table.
So, so Nate, is this behind what I call the circulation desk?
In front of it.
To the
Yep.
right.
Sounds like as you walk through the front door, it's immediately to the right.
Yeah, okay,
Hallway,
Yeah.
the desk is here.
okay.
No.
So this is the reference room, and that's how you get into the restroom. This office, which now goes through, will be split in half, and there will be a small workstation
And tell me again where the front door is.
here.
Right here.
And Cynthia, is there a door directly into it from the entryway?
There's a door into what will be that workstation place.
That's an existing door.
That's an existing door. This is also an existing.
And so it'll be accessible from the exterior of the building?
No,
No.
So this will be an ADA bathroom, which is accessible when the library is open.
Right.
Correct.
And then just for geography, where is your office going to be? Is that going to be at the end of the circulation desk, the stairs that go up, or how do you get to that?
yeah, so there are stairs in the lobby area. There are stairs that go up to our archive room.
Right.
That archive room is where my office
Okay.
will be. It will remain the archive room, but it will also be my office.
And those stairs, that entryway to the stairs, is that shown on this diagram? I just.
It's just off plan view, unfortunately. I don't think any of the views we have in this set of documents includes it. We're not including that scope of work within these plans. We're going to handle that, ourselves, any of those improvements.
I see.
As a building maintenance thing or a facility upgrade what budget line will it be on?
So I've included it in the capital. I've just broken out and I can handle those, like the minor electrical upgrade I can handle separately. The HVAC, we can use our on-call who has done the HVAC improvements for Seaside 1 wastewater treatment plant. He'll be doing heat pump system for the fire department. So just another one of those, essentially.
So what is the amount we have to carry on the capital line for this ADA bathroom?
Exactly.
No, we don't need that.
He's saying 150 for the bathroom, 150.
I'm not asking you, I'm asking him.
Okay.
It's my understanding it came down from the original 300,000.
Where's the
Yep.
back?
We said 225.
Yeah, so it's coming up to about 225, depending on how much we want to carry for contingency. And then if we want to carry any money for design for FY28 construction project. So I think that plays into the overall capital of, what do we see doing a project in a construction project in FY28 there? what is the appetite, for the scale of that project? And that would really dictate how much we would want to carry for the design aspect of that project.
We haven't heard anything about fiscal year 28 library project. So I think it would be premature to include anything like for that in the fiscal year 27 budget.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to, just make this for this project.
Yeah,
And if, including whatever, appropriate contingency you think is necessary to, cover things.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you went to 250, that'd
Yeah.
probably be
Okay.
fairly comfortable and not, not cut it too close.
yep, sounds good. So we'll put that down to 250. Okay. We're not voting on capital tonight. We're just trying to get it straightened out.
Subject
Thank
to
you.
entry.
8,000 for 50.
We,
Thanks for playing.
it's our magic. Thank you very much for coming in.
Yeah, thank you for
Thank you, guys.
putting up with all our questions.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Nate. Okay, so we're now on to CPC. Do you have something for us on CPC, or do I have to pull up the email?
No, I have,
I,
PowerPoint that you're referring to. Let me put together that.
I have that, but then Jack had sent us the actual spreadsheet.
Didn't get that.
Sir, can I have that?
When did you send that?
CPC vote on the agenda?
Have CPC discussion on the agenda. CPC projects is on the agenda. It was right below the library.
It's the, like the fourth.
Oh, yep, I see it.
Yeah.
Yes, because, yeah.
This is the same bathroom that initially. Okay, thank you. Not as though it's turning into two bathrooms.
No, the original bathroom was gonna be in the stacks, and it was gonna take out too much of the stacks.
And was it gonna be accessible from the exterior? Was that?
This is an important, you're bringing up a very important point.
Because I know the
Peter.
bathroom issue.
Yeah,
and the
this is a very
town-
important point.
I think they were trying to make that project happen without moving her up and by accommodating her office, and they just couldn't.
To have too many
They
books.
couldn't squeeze it in.
Couldn't
Yeah.
squeeze it in. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they got rid of the books, it would work.
So that project went away, the funding got,
The money came back into
Right.
free cash or fund balance, whatever
Got
we
it.
wanna call it.
yep.
This is the sequel, this one.
This is the sequel.
Thank you.
This is about the same price.
Yeah, it is.
That was in the 400 range or something. Anyway, got it.
Okay,
Well, at least we're having weekend hours, so it'll be open for that.
it's only 3 hours, it's only 3 hours on Saturday. And
We haven't dealt with the bathroom
Now,
question.
this is,
This is.
in my view, the design is seriously.
Because of that
Yeah.
limitation, Gar?
We're spending more to get less, it's fundamentally. We need a downtown public bathroom. Library ADA, will be able to provide that to the library and to allow the dip. I'm Mr. Bathroom on the dip, as you may know. I'm proud to say. We desperately need a public bathroom in the middle of our town.
Right, but I think the library is not the appropriate place. I don't think it's monitored. I think your more appropriate place is in town hall, which has monitoring in town hall 24/7.
Except nobody walked in here.
Gar, has anyone
To
considered,
be changed.
It would.
I mean, there's a bathroom right next to the front entry.
I know it's open, but talk to a tourist. I'm now talking for the DP.
Okay, well,
Dip.
okay, I don't
Come on.
have they, Gar,
pursue this
We can
conversation.
certainly continue this.
Right, yeah.
have they considered along the sewage treatment plant, the
We're-
community path?
We're
Just
not
put
gonna
a
discuss this, Dean.
Very cheap.
Good question.
We had a temporary bathroom there that nobody used.
Now the community path's there. But anyway, okay.
Okay. So now we're on to CPC. Hi, Jack.
Good evening, everybody. I'm joined by a number of my committee members online.
Okay,
You should have a spreadsheet before everybody. And this year we have available funds of $620,000, of which $482,000 is the estimated tax surcharge at 1.5%, estimating state match of 17% for $81,940, and we have $56,211 of unreserved balance for a total of $620,000. We made provisional votes last week at our CPC meeting. We expect to ratify these close to the same numbers, but we would let you know if anything should change drastically at next week's meeting. There are three areas that we fund: open space, recreation, community housing, and historic preservation. We have applications that we've requested applications, $346,000, and I'm sorry, we've approved requested applications of $346,700 out of that budget amount of $620,000. Broken down into open space and recreation of $51,000, community housing $200,000, and historic preservation $70,000, administration funds $25,000. Happy to answer any questions.
I have one, Jack.
Dean, go
Um,
through the chair, please.
okay, sorry. The 10% statutory allocation for open space is 56,394, but we're less than that. Does that mean we have to fund that much more next year in this category, or are we supposed to fund a minimum of that amount?
No, we don't have to. We don't have to spend a nickel in any of the categories every year, but if we don't, we have to put that money aside for future use. So if we do approve the 51,600, there'd be about $5,000 that of reserved funds for the use of open space and recreation only that would be added to next year.
And you keep a running total of that?
I do.
So if you've overspent 1 year, that credits against any shortfall in the next year? Yeah, okay.
Yes, Andrea and I work together every year, and she keeps a copy of everything that's unreserved or encumbered for the year.
Andrew, that must mean that the housing fund is pretty big, doesn't
Yes.
Yeah, so the Affordable Housing Trust gets those funds. That is, it's
1.7.
like 1.6, no, 1.8, I think, with this.
Without this, no, it was 1.7, I think.
It's around there.
it? So does CBC have some kind of plan? It's a lot of money to be sitting around.
It's in the Affordable Housing Trust,
Which
which CPC can't control.
What is that? But is there, I'm not thinking, like, is there a plan? Like, you keep putting a bunch of money in there over what we have to. I'm guessing that, I'm hoping there's a plan, like, when we get to $2 million, we'll.
Well, I can tell you that the Affordable Housing Trust attempted to purchase a property in Manchester this fall. And for in excess of $1 million. And it was just closed yesterday to somebody else for $175,000 less than we were willing to pay.
What's wrong?
That works.
I guess the owner didn't want affordable housing to go on the property they were selling.
So you're saying we basically need $1 million plus to be involved, and we just don't know when these things are gonna come up.
Right, and this
This came up at town meeting, like, Bill's money.
yeah, this was a property with 1.3 acres. That could have held I think the main house was gonna be converted into 3 condos, maybe. It was a large house. And then maybe 10 or 12 townhouses in the back, and they would have been sold as affordable rather than rented. Because to make a rental financially feasible, you need at least 30 units. So that's the attempt that was being made. And the challenge is, if you've looked at the real estate market in Manchester, is finding real estate with enough land that you can actually put multifamily housing on it, and that the owners will want to sell it to somebody who wants to put in affordable housing.
So would the plan be to, once you build these things and sell them, that money would go back in the trust fund?
No, what we were attempting to do was to donate money to a nonprofit to cover the acquisition cost, which was needed in order to make the whole project financially feasible. And it was well over $1 million. It was almost all of our money.
I think the taxpayers need some kind of like overall
Right,
high level strategy to say like, we have a lot of money, that's your money. It was your money.
right,
Now it's our money.
right. It's a problem.
Yeah.
Granted, it's a problem, and it's, Gar will give you a tongue lashing on it. But it's, you know, we don't have, right now, we're looking at, a piece of town-owned property to see if there's any feasibility in taking a large piece of town-owned property and using that for affordable housing. And the Affordable Housing Trust has no intention to develop anything. Just work with
Yeah.
partners.
Yeah. Is there an amount you'd say, okay, we probably have enough for right now?
So,
Well, if 1.5 wasn't sufficient, you know, we'll go 1.7.
What if you had $75 million? I think the Manchester Affordable Housing Trust would still come back to you and say,
Just more.
we just can't do it for some, we don't know why, but it's impossible. The Manchester Affordable Housing Trust should be disbanded. The members of the trust, as good people as they are, should be thanked. They should submit their resignations. We should take the $1.7 million and do something else with it, or whatever it's going to be up to. It is a failed effort. The thing was started, what, 6-7 years ago?
Longer than that.
Longer than that?
14, I believe.
It's never produced a single
There-
unit.
CPC was 20 plus years ago.
Yeah, but Affordable Housing Trust.
No, I'm talking about the MAHT, the Manchester Affordable. It's never produced a single unit of affordable housing.
I think there were other things in the works that are not public knowledge that are trying to be worked on, to create affordable housing or help
Well, I'm wondering,
subsidize developers to encourage them to include affordable.
I'm wondering if you
housing.
dial this back a little bit, if the optics would be better. Say, look.
The optics are not ideal
I
right now.
mean, you have to put 60 in, right? So that's.
so the
Or
reason
somewhere.
why I've supported it every year is because it's the only shred of evidence that the town has that we're doing anything towards affordable housing. And we could get severely penalized if we're negligent for this for much longer. I think we might already be. So that's, but a reduced amount would work in that regard as well. But that's why I support something, just because it's all we have to show progress.
But Gar, your comment is, it, never happen, or it's impossible.
I would say, based on the evidence, it was not Einstein. When something doesn't work, stop doing it.
But I think that.
It wasn't, it was somebody else, but it was, everybody says it was Einstein, but
That part of the point you're missing is that when the trust was created, it didn't have enough money to do anything. It went out to people and said, we'll help subsidize your rentals and make them affordable. The landlords didn't want to do that. There were other projects, there was money, there's a program out there to help subsidize housing purchases, help subsidize rent. During COVID, they paid $170,000 to pay down people's rent if they couldn't afford to pay their rent. So there wasn't enough money to really make a purchase of any size. They brought in every nonprofit that's in this business and said, what can we do? They worked for long years trying to work with the MHA, which the state wasn't flexible enough to allow an individual development.
MHA is a
Right.
legend in itself.
So, I think I think behind the scenes, the Affordable Housing Trust was trying to do things and didn't have enough money to do anything. And I think now they're at the point where at least they have some money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
So can I just ask a question, this may be going one step deeper, Powder House Lane,
Yes,
the whole Nikki, has
yes.
that been resolved? Is
So
that still
we had,
works?
we
Where is
had
that?
a meeting with the Affordable Housing Trust Tuesday night. And I read the regulatory agreement and identified exactly, I went before the select board to get it signed. And there wasn't enough information for them to be comfortable signing. So I went through the regulatory agreement and identified exactly what the town's obligation is, so that I can make a recommendation to Tony as to a person on the town staff who could actually make sure that those obligations
Are fulfilled.
are fulfilled, which is basically once a year obtaining information on the fact that, they've done all of the income certification and that there are actually 8 units that meet qualifications.
I mean, it seems in light of this discussion, a win in some area would be a hugely welcome thing. This could be,
So
sounds like you're inches from the finish line.
29 units.
Let's move it over.
it can get executed in the first meeting in February. It can't be Monday night because Tony's not around.
But I was gonna say,
It can't be Monday night because it's gonna snow.
we've been chatting about this for
Right.
5-7 years. It would be great to just
We just
put a
need
bow on it and call it done.
the town's signature on it so it can go to the state.
So could I ask, to John's point, does it really impact our situation to say that we want to hold off on further funding until we see, something ratified?
Responsible government?
Not that this hasn't been a good idea and a good effort,
It's
to your
a good
point.
effort.
Yeah.
It's a good effort.
There's no.
I'm not saying anybody's bad,
Yeah.
but I think holding off and giving them another $200,000 in view of the fact that they've had an egregious record probably is not a good idea. Let's hold the 200,000 and say,
Do the 60, which
we
is
like
minimum.
your ideas, but let's see a little substance here.
And Sarah, if I could ask Jack, is it a requirement that we provide at least that minimum 56,394 to?
No, we must set it aside for
Set it
future
aside,
years, but
Yeah.
we don't have to spend it this year. I would like to make a comment if I can, Madam Chair.
Yes. Yes, Ms. Burke.
We have historically supported, the CPC has historically supported this annual fund, realizing that we're fighting a tough battle. And the answer is, as you've already spoken, there's not enough money and there's no land. Yet we feel it's an important part of our mission. And it's required by law that we look at affordable housing in Manchester. It's one third of the things that we can look at. We don't have to spend 1/3. But we did have a number of meetings with townspeople over the years when we've done our 5-year plan. And 65% of the people felt that affordable housing was where we should be spending most of our money. And our consultant wanted us to commit to 65% per year, of course, which we did. And we're committing to the minimum 10% per year. But the consultant felt, based on what the people had voted on at these meetings, that we actually commit to a higher number. And we also feel that bringing it to town meeting allows town meeting to decide, not just our group or your group or the select board. And although there was some dissension last year, 85% of people at town meeting voted to approve this ongoing $200,000. And some people actually asked if they could spend more than the $200,000. So I think we're well supported. We are allowed to bring this to town meeting on our own without the approval from the finance committee or the select board. However, obviously we don't. We want the support of the finance committee and the select board. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Madam Chairman, I am in favor of affordable housing. I own affordable housing in 5 communities in the greater Boston area. I own an affordable housing project in town. I donated $50,000 to Powder House Hill as part of the equity to acquire that, to push it into affordable housing. I'm 100% in favor of affordable housing. I'm 100% against putting money into nothing.
Thank you.
I have mixed feelings about this, but we went through a lot of wrangling with reserve fund and what we were holding aside at the end of a given year of taxpayer dollars, in reserves. And, 1.5, 1.7 million, I think needs some explanation going forward. I mean, we want to do something with this, but if 10 years becomes 20 years, we're fighting one problem over here and we're kind of just saying, oh, this one is okay over there. I think we need to put more attention on it.
Town gives us control, right? If we had our own reserve for affordable housing, then the town controls it. If you give to MH, the housing trust, then they control it, right?
So aren't they essentially a town entity?
It's like separate trust.
But it's
I'm not
managed
sure.
by people who are basically appointed and elected.
Appointed
Yeah.
to the select board.
So it's, yeah.
So it's managed by the town if it's appointed by the select board.
Yeah.
Right?
But independent of voters, right? So you guys could spend everything tomorrow on buying one little apartment and we wouldn't vote on it, right?
That's correct.
Whereas the towns
We vote-
vote on the,
Vote on the money going in,
and,
not the money coming
and
in.
we would vote if we had the $1.8 million and Andrea had it, then they have to vote to get it out of there, right?
Correct.
That's a difference, I think.
I think one of the reasons why you set up the Affordable Housing Trust is that they don't have the limitations. So if a property does come available,
Yeah.
you can jump right on it and move on it. And
Like they
not
have
wait.
for the last 6 years.
So
And
I
you
also
don't-
just
You
want,
don't have any of the constraints of Davis Bacon, any of that sort of thing where you have to pay people more to build things, so it
Right.
takes it outside of the town. As far as the municipal.
Prevailing.
Yeah, prevailing wage,
Yeah.
yep.
And we talked about bringing in, we've got some smart fellows and gals in town who understand affordable housing. And we've talked about, and you told me, you're kind of percolating in that direction yourself.
Well, yeah, I've got somebody who's applied who I think would be really good to improve the board. I just need the appointment to go through.
So I'm just.
Not a select board appointment, as a moderator.
I'm just generally curious. I mean, it sounds like there's money on hand, but opportunities haven't gone through, not necessarily because of being overbid or underbid. There must be other things going on here, like what people want in their neighborhood or regulations or something. Have other towns that are benchmarked around us been able to do this successfully? I mean, are there other examples of towns that are going at it with the same horsepower we are, that have moved the ball over the finish line, or is this a problem that everybody's facing?
Basically, if you're talking of something being done through the Affordable Housing Trust, it's gonna be a 40B because our town zoning bylaws do not allow multifamily housing. So you're talking a 40B, and if you look at the history of 40B approvals in area towns, they certainly are not slam dunks. The ones that have gone through are, majority have not been friendly, I believe.
My take on this is that we're trying to fit Manchester into the bureaucratic molds or extrusions that we really don't fit into. We need to go to Bruce Tarr, and I know we did, we had a meeting, and they said, gee, Ed Augustus, who's Secretary of Housing and Livable Communities, won't go along with the kinds of things that you want to do. The problem with Manchester is we really don't have that many 30 and 40 and 50 unit projects that make affordable units
Financially feasible.
workable. So we've got 5-unit buildings.
Yeah.
And 8-unit buildings and 2-unit buildings. I proposed to Chris Olney a 2-unit building on whatever the road that goes down to Morse Court, I think it's called, has nothing to do with me. It was a building that was available, 2 nice units for $1 million. I said, just buy it. I'll help you get a $600,000 mortgage. You'll get 600 of your million back. You'll have 2 units. You can put them on the subsidized housing inventory list. And 2 families can use the wonderful beach. They can send their kids to our under capacity school.
Gar,
You know, all of this thing, I'm sorry.
true, but the problem is if the Affordable Housing Trust owns property, they then have the obligation to enforce a marketing plan, which means they have to go out and have a lottery. They have to
Yes.
maintain a waiting list.
Right.
They have to jump through the hoops, and it's just
And that's
not
where
realistic.
having Bruce Tarr go to Maura Healy and say, we need you to tell Ed Augustus to relax some of this
I
stuff.
mean,
So that towns like Manchester can build
We've done
affordable
that.
housing,
I mean-
because it's not happening.
right, but you can't blame the Affordable Housing Trust for that, Gar.
I do,
I mean.
because they're the ones that have, they're the ones with the charge.
But, I mean, the whole problem with Powder House Lane is because there were no tax credits, no state money involved, so it's a whole different path. And that's why the town has to sign a regulatory agreement in order to make sure that they maintain affordable. If it's a 40B development, the developers are doing it. The town doesn't have to sign a regulatory agreement, and the state is not equipped to handle
They sure are.
projects that.
They are not. You're
not-
absolutely right. They're not equipped.
By
And
developers.
all of Maura Healy's talk about creating housing is so much fluff. She doesn't know what she's talking about, and Ed Augustus isn't helping towns like Manchester.
Okay, so let's move off of before.
Yeah, I was gonna say, going back to the CPC, I think the big discussion that we were supposed to have tonight was about the rotunda, because that was what everyone else. I think with Jack, we were gonna approve this stuff, but we weren't sure.
You know, we're not a, well.
No, I mean, the CPC was
So
looking at.
Sarah, before we I have two questions about the CPC budget.
Go ahead.
So, Jack, maybe you can help us with this. Signage for Reed Park and Pine Street Field at $16,000. I'm just curious what that is. And then title search by the town assessor for 25,000. I'm curious, have we invested in these things before, or is this a first time? If we have done it before,
Yes.
what has been accomplished? And could you tell us what this sign is for $16,000?
Sure. That sign budget is for new granite posts and sign, one at Reed Park and one at the new Pine Street Field. Cheryl put one at Coach Field a couple of years ago and one at Sweeney Park, I think last year. The cost of those two is about $12,000. I increased the budget because there's other signage, better signage at Singing Beach parking lot that the selectmen are going to discuss, and possibly upgrading the signs at Masconomo Park and at the Singing Beach Circle. The other one is the title search, and that's the title search in the Western Woods. We have done considerable work there. The assessors hire a title examiner for unknown owners of property, and they brought back a number of lots back on the tax roll, but an awful lot of it has gone into Conservation Trust with the Conservation Commission and the Manchester Essex Conservation Trust. So it's continued work to basically protect the water supply and possibly increase passive and some active recreation.
Decrease land available for affordable housing.
I think with the green belt,
Knew that was coming.
we gave 250,000 to green belt last year, so you'd think that there'd be some fringe areas that they wouldn't mind trading for what we've been giving them lately.
Oh, Greenbelt's pretty cooperative.
Yeah, well, we spent a lot of money for them up at Long Hill.
Yeah.
And maybe if there's a fringe area by the railroad tracks that they don't feel is conservation worthy, we could use it for housing.
And just one other question, in historic preservation, there's a $20,000 line item for historic district survey.
Yes, the Historic District Commission put that survey in. They're looking to find out exactly what we have that's historical in town and with the possible expanding of the historic district. And that would be for an examiner that would come through town and give an inventory of what we actually have in town. We don't know at this point what is historical and what isn't.
I think they're looking at individual
Houses.
properties.
And I did ask Rosemary at the
Yes.
CPC about whether she could do it, and she's not qualified. It's something you need a license for that she doesn't have.
Any other questions on CPC? Yes, Andy?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask about the meeting house roof at the First Parish Church, $12,000.
Yes. Yes, they have an estimate for $45,000. They originally had asked for half of that. But after talking to, Jeff Parker and a couple of other members of the committee, this was a little controversial. Some members on our committee, would have liked to have given more, and it's still possible next week that discussion, when we finalize the vote, a motion could be made to be a little higher than that. But we've given a provisional approval of $12,000 right now for a new roof.
Yeah. I guess my comment, it's similar to something we voted on last year, which is that, it's the town giving money for church property.
Yes, the anti-amendment law in Massachusetts prohibits us from spending any money that would support any church activities. This has been vetted and educated a number of times. The Supreme Court in Massachusetts has agreed that if we're spending public money to help save and preserve a building, that it's an allowable expense. In many towns in Massachusetts, if you go to the CPA coalition database, you'll see millions of dollars spent on these historical churches in Massachusetts.
If we don't support this, we'll have to change our logo on our station letterhead, which has the meeting house roof.
Well, also, the meeting house is a pretty important community resource, not just for, praying in there or something. They have a lot of very good non-religious organizations, the museum, lots of others that use that facility. Sure. I think it's an important resource for the town.
We feel that it's one of the most historic buildings and important buildings in Manchester.
It's a signature landmark for town.
The lights were back
Yes.
on tonight. All the lights are on.
Pointing in the right direction.
Are all the lights on?
Uh-huh.
That's good. I have 7 tenants that are gonna be very happy with the lights on.
It's all the way up to the roof.
Oh, on that,
Oh, I mean.
I'm talking
about.
part of Beach is Central, yeah.
Oh, I don't know about.
Beach and Union. All right, good.
Okay,
Did Tony talk to you about rotunda funding?
yes, we received something on it from him, okay?
Well,
I'm getting to it.
oh,
Was not in the CPC list, so we needed to go through the CPC list first, okay?
I had too much coffee today. Sorry.
So is there any other feedback we want to give Jack on the CPC list?
Could you tell us about the cemetery restoration, what that involves?
Yes, we've already repaired over 100 stones between Union Cemetery, 1661 Cemetery, and Rosedale. We repaired the granite walls, repaired the fence at 1661 Union Cemetery, and need to do more fence work at Rosedale, and dozens of more stones. So it's continued work that we've been doing for the last 10 years.
Okay, anything else? Okay. Now, either Andrea or Tony, I don't know which one, sent us this PDF on the rotunda. Did everyone get it?
I didn't see it.
I can put it up on the screen.
Or copy.
It was attached to one of Tony's emails.
It was before he went on vacation last week.
Oh, no. He sent them Thursday night, I think later Friday morning last week.
Yeah,
Something I should have done on Friday.
yeah, unfortunately, I have all except for the first page printed because that's when my printer died.
I unfortunately did not print this one. I printed everything else. But I can put it up on the screen. That's so long.
No, it's horizontal.
I don't think I got it. Very good.
You want to forward it?
Well, we may not be able to discuss it tonight if people didn't get it, but,
It looks like it was sent on the Friday, the 16th.
okay.
The
The
6:22 in the afternoon.
issue that's being presented,
Tony.
Tony Barletta,
Thank you.
the issue that's being presented to us is with respect to the rotunda, do we pay for it using town debt exclusion funds? Or do we have the CPC issue a bond to pay for it?
No.
And this is a presentation with an argument. And my concern is, well, and there's been, one of the recommendations in here is you increase CPC to 3%. So you get an additional 8% from the state, but then that forces us to spend more money on these other things. And that would be about a 1.5% increase in the tax rate, excluding the first 100,000. Whereas the cost to bond 3 million is about 0.7% tax increase.
Right.
And it would be less than that if we get, like, if the CPC gave more cash funds to the rotunda, that would decrease the amount of bond.
You're saying issue it out of CPC because they have cash stuck in there that we can't get.
No, they don't have the cash. They'd have to increase our taxes to get the cash.
Well, I was gonna recommend we switch the affordable housing trust money over, but I don't think we can do that. Yeah.
And I think that the appropriation needs to be included in the fiscal year 27 budget so they can go out to bid.
So I still don't understand why you should on CPC when the town has bonds outstanding.
We haven't bonded this yet.
No, but the town has bond, like in the
Right.
bond market, you can buy bonds.
Right,
So everyone knows, mentioned by the C is AAA rated.
right.
They have full taxing authority to
Right.
pick up the bonds.
I think
CPC is like, I don't know who this is.
the argument is that because we get a 16 or 17% state match, that would offset the cost of the bond.
Okay, it's on its
But-
way. I don't have it yet.
But your point is that they might not be as bondable.
Well, yeah, that's a
Well,
$1
the
million
town-
piece.
The town would still be the one issuing the bond. It's just the funding source would be from CPC.
Only, or also general obligation?
It would be the obligation of the town if CPC didn't vote for it. They'd have to vote for it each year.
So the town's issuing a
Well-
bond, something else weird about it.
I know.
Yeah.
And the way debt works, like, yes, you have to have an appropriation, but since you already have that bond authorization and the subsequent debt service, even if the town meeting voted not to fund the debt service, we still by law have to pay for it, whether or not it's.
The CPC is required by statute to fund that bond for the full 20 years.
So even if you voted to get rid of CPC altogether and bring it down to zero, you'd still have to tax CPC.
Correct.
for the amount
You'd
of
have to keep enough,
service.
you have to keep enough CPC in the, on the tax rolls to pay for the bond. So if that's 0.75%, 1.25%, whatever it would be, we would have to keep that amount and not fund anything else.
And I had a creative solution. You know me, creative. In 2025, we appropriated 800,000 for the rotunda because we knew we had lost one of the grants. We thought we still had the other grant.
Right.
So my creative solution is to take that 800,000 we had appropriated, put it back into free cash, bond for the full, include that 800,000 in the bonding, bond for the full 3 million rather than 2.2 million. And then that gives us 800,000 in free cash that we can allocate towards items that currently are triggered to taxation to help solve our budget problem this year.
Oh,
Operating, you mean?
Like OPEB.
like, okay.
OPEB is
that's
coming out of
it.
taxation.
Yeah.
You could pay that out of
I don't have
this
it.
800,000.
Yeah.
And do the full 420. And you could reduce the amount of taxation being used for some of the capital items, which would free up taxation money for the operating budget to help fill our $732,000 gap.
Sarah, point of information, please.
Yes,
I believe 500,000 of that 800 is CPC money.
so, there's 1.3 total, 800 from the town and 500 from CPC.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
So the
Thank
total
you.
budget for the rotunda is 3.6 million. So the assumption is that 500,000 already allocated from the CPC would reduce the amount of the required loan. So it only need the 3 million or 3.1, whatever it is. But then if the CPC wanted to allocate more cash towards the rotunda, that would further decrease the amount of the bond the town required.
I don't think it's a bad idea to bond things that are infrastructure that
Right.
last for 20, 30, hopefully 20, 30, 40 years, that better.
Well,
After all this.
as an engineer, I think it's foolish to spend 3.5 million to raise it the full 5 feet when we can spend less now and deal with it until the next rehabilitation in 25 years.
Okay,
So that,
I understand your point, Dean.
yeah.
But the fact of the matter is that the select board held multiple forums
Yeah.
with people in town, residents. And the approach that's being pursued was the agreed upon approach by the residents of the town. And it's not for the finance committee to weigh in on that decision.
At those estimates, and it was the tail wagging the dog, what it was. It was ridiculous.
It's okay as a resident, but it's not for the finance committee to weigh in on. I mean,
Yeah, bring it up to the select board again.
I think it's something that we could really cut down on tax burden this year. I mean, sea level rise is gradual, but anyway.
all of the permits are expiring in 2027. That's part of the problem.
Yeah, oh, it would be the same project to just put it lower. It really, we wouldn't have to do the ramp, which is an extra $500,000.
Well,
Just, I'll throw in, I'm involved with another project that is involved with permitting from 7 different agencies about sea level rise. And in Massachusetts, if you don't go up 5 feet or 6 feet, you don't get permitted.
There you go.
It's a silly thing, but it's the way it is. So
Well, we can design for the future 5 foot now and just extend it as we need it. Be like our, anyway, let's go.
okay, so we're not here to redesign the project.
No, it's just silly.
What we're here for is to give the CPC input regarding whether we want to seek CPC funds to bond the Rotunda project, or whether we want to use town funds to bond the Rotunda project.
Well, why wouldn't we use CPC funds? I mean, it's part of their mandate is historic preservation, then.
Because the CPC, in order to afford it.
Well, anything they contribute will be helpful, right?
We certainly
No.
wouldn't be able to put,
We're talking the total bond.
It'd be less if they cut a check.
Yeah, I'm talking about who's repaying the
330,
bond
300, yeah, it would be
versus
335,000 a year. I believe.
coming from CPC.
No, we're gonna repay the bonds, no question. The town's gonna repay that.
one thing that I'd like to say is if we put this on the CPC for future years, we're probably not gonna be able to also carry the 200,000 housing stuff, so.
It would use up half of the CPC money if the bond went through the CPC,
That's correct.
At the current rate.
unless we increased
The
the
percent.
CPC to 3%. And so the question is do we want to eat up half the CPC money with one bond? Or do we want to do a debt exclusion through the town? And CPC can give us cash this year that would reduce the amount of the bond the town would need to,
Because of the match.
that's the only reason to do it.
they could do that,
CPC, and
every year.
what,
Year by year by year,
Yeah.
CPC could contribute toward the bond payment of the,
no, I don't think so.
The thing is,
They can contribute until we issue the long-term bonds, and then that determines the total amount of bond that Andrea has
So they
to
could-
issue.
They could like pay principal as a historic thing.
Not unless it's originally the bond through CPC.
Yeah,
This is not a project based thing.
It's like, it wouldn't be considered a category, whereas like if you issue it through CPC, you can say, okay, that's your annual allotment for historic preservation. But you can't say like, oh, we just want to pay this, debt service over here that the town agreed to pay.
But
CPC can't make that exclusion. Can't make
Right.
that.
if we do this project, if we appropriate money, town meeting for the project, when would you anticipate that you would issue long-term bonds?
Probably 2 years from June.
With the elementary.
So it would be,
So
so essentially I would ban it and then next June I would have like a debt service payment. So that would be FY 29.
FY 29.
So Sarah, what's,
So if CPC could give us money before FY 29 in order to reduce the amount of the bond.
what, maybe I've been missing it. What is the downside of bonding it through the CPC that you see?
Do you want to throw out the scenarios, the money scenarios up here?
Yeah.
And one thing is the match.
It's the only difference is the match.
So,
You're already getting the match. So if you're keeping CPC at 1.5%, I don't see that you gain anything.
16% or whatever.
Yeah, but you're gonna spend that on other things.
No, I know, but we wouldn't spend it on other things if we spent it on that. And we often struggle, as hard as the CPC works to sort of invite appropriate projects, there's often a lack of appropriate projects, and the Rotunda seems like a pretty appropriate project. And, so the benefit of whatever reaping that 16% year over year for 20 years might not be a bad thing.
And my argument to that would be reduce the CPC tax. I don't think.
Oh, from 1.5.
Yeah, I don't think a long-term bond is appropriate through the CPC.
Okay. Yeah.
If you don't want to spend money on CPC for other things, just drop your rate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because today, the match from the state is not significant enough.
Right.
When we started, I think it was 50%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
100.
100.
Selling point,
Yeah,
remember.
So maybe we could conclude that at this meeting that we would recommend not to go with 3%.
I'm waiting for more input
Yeah.
from people.
So
I agree.
if we could ask then, if, whatever this amount is, what was 3.3 or 3.6?
No,
The total
it's-
project is 3.6.
Project.
Minus 500 that's already been
Yeah.
allocated. And minus whatever we might get allocations for in the next 2 years
Right.
before the bond actually gets issued
right,
and so then the balance is what we bond
right, at the end of the project.
through the town. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Well, wouldn't that also impact like the budget we're talking about right now and say, look, why would you put $200,000 in a housing trust, which we might not use, versus putting it towards a rotunda, which seems like we're very
You
likely
could
to
make
use.
that suggestion.
Just made it.
But as, we discussed that the CPC budget goes before the town meeting. It's not governed by us.
I mean, if you have a big project that's fits in their wheelhouse.
Yeah.
So the town has $6 million of bonds outstanding right now, is that right?
That's correct.
And so we would be adding another 3
Oh,
million.
no, we're adding a
Right,
lot
more
more
or
than
Not
that.
more than that. Look at the future.
Oh, yeah, okay, so you take
The PFAs.
PFAS.
Whatever.
You add the PFAS,
Still down as an enterprise.
and some of these other stuff. We're gonna be adding another, what, $20 million in bonds? So this committee is gonna be responsible for going from like 5 or 6 million to like 25 or 30 million in bonding.
Our capacity is less.
I don't want this to get into a discussion on the capital budget.
All right,
Right.
We're talking one item.
okay.
If a decision is made to include it in the budget, which we haven't even gotten there yet, do we want to fund it with a debt exclusion through the town? Or do we want CPC to set aside money to bond it? We haven't approved the project yet. Because we haven't approved capital. CPC can't do its budget unless it knows whether we're gonna look for money for the rotunda.
So you were looking for more data. You said a minute ago.
I
Yes,
guess I'm confused if we're not bonding until FY 29.
We have to appropriate the money to go out for bid.
Well, the bond authorization is the appropriation.
Does bond
Bond
Sarah, the
authorization?
CPC,
What? So we
the
would go.
CPC would not have to appropriate any funds for probably 2 more years. We would not be, need to bring any money to town budget until the debt service, needs to be paid, which would be
But we-
2029 probably.
We need it to be on the capital budget in order to go out to bid.
You need to commit.
When is it
Yes.
going out to bid?
So you need a bond authorization or
Right.
project funding in order to go out to bid.
When's it going out to bid?
Meets the one.
They'll
Yep.
probably put a request that it can be approved right after town meeting, like they did with the,
Conservation Commission expires on 4/29/27.
Nate's good.
Nate, go ahead.
Yeah, we're planning to go out to bid this summer to do the fall construction season, or fall into winter construction season. That is by permit. So probably June timeframe. And we're looking to group basically all the harbor projects into one bid. At a minimum right now, be Reed Park Moors and the Rotunda, and then ideally dredging. And by doing that, I think you eliminate a lot of economy of scale. Instead of having potentially four separate contractors, you could have one contractor. So all of their overhead. It also, would be an improvement on the consulting side. Reduction of paperwork,
Let's hold
everything.
off on this discussion until we're discussing capital projects with the DPW, because I do not believe Reed Park is on our capital list. So I think we need to wait and discuss this when we meet with the
Okay.
DPW, okay?
Yeah.
As far
So
as
anyway,
merging.
but yeah. So anyways, Rotunda would be bid in June.
To me, the two things are important here. This debate about the source of who takes on the debt is more esoteric than I've wrapped my brain around, but I want the project to move forward. I want us to resolve this for this budget cycle. I'm sick of talking about it. The second thing is I want us to pay down OPEB. I want us to have a plan that enables a one-time payment to move out of that obligation.
what does that give us though? What benefit?
It would mean that next year's budget,
Yeah.
we would pay about $450,000 out of the OPEB trust for the retiree insurance premiums. So that would free up $450,000 for our operating
That's the
budget.
benefit.
And that's the benefit.
That's a big benefit.
Because I see hard years coming and I want to make that money available.
Okay, I see.
That doesn't answer the strict question that I know is being debated, but I hope those are among the outcomes that we seek. Do it now and also pay off.
Right, and the challenge is right now, in our current budget, OPEB is assumed to be coming from tax dollars.
Yes, I understand
In
that.
prior years, we paid it from free cash or fund balance, whatever you call it. This year, we didn't have enough to do that. But if we put this $800,000 back in bond the full amount of the Rotunda, then we have enough free cash to do OPEB plus some other capital things that were coming
And I
out of
think-
taxation.
Be able to move forward on the project currently.
Right.
And do the OPEB payoff. I know it leaves over the question, who takes the 3 million as a matter of the source of repayment obligation. I'm not convinced, but I know enough about it at the moment to know which one is. I hear the benefits that I'm not clear on the distinct benefits of each of the two possible sources. That is either CPC, but I hate to obligate CPC for 20 years. My simpler analysis is CPC gives us a way to do some things which are, I think, advantageous because of the
authority they have and the flexibility they have. So I'm very cautious to obligate them with a 20-year bond or whatever.
So I've got a question to that end. Is it possible to use some of that money? I know money's fungible, but you're getting $400,000 that I know can disappear in a New York minute here. But could you earmark some of that to serve that bond and perhaps take some of the pressure off?
What are you talking about?
We're saving by not paying OPEB.
You aren't gonna have to pay your premiums for OPEB.
Well, I think that the problem, John, is we need it.
You need it for everything.
We need it for the operating budget.
I'm not arguing that, but I'm saying.
We could,
The point.
Right.
the later conversation, once we get further along in the budget, is do we need an override or not?
Yeah.
And that's-
Discussion is gonna get to that point.
Right, at some point, once we finalize the budget, we'll get to that point.
Well, I just wanna make
Yeah.
a point that could somehow.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to make, just a broad brush capital, I'm gonna be asking people to live within their means more. Because the one thing that is clear for that 25-year chart is that we're gonna reach our bond capacity pretty quickly. And to spend 90,000 for this harbor, when for 5 days, when we have to turn away boats because of full capacity, it just doesn't make any sense for payback. So those are some of the hard choices. I know there's synergy with driving piles together all at once, but we have to live within our means more, I think, this year. And that's the message I'd like to send.
And that's an argument against doing the project at all at this time?
No, I think Tux is a priority. It was a clear-cut priority in town meeting, so, but to lump this other stuff in, I think it's
That's the other stuff.
pedophagy, skullduggery, you name it.
Maury,
Fundamentally, I want to see the rotunda done. To Peter's point, we've been talking about this for a long time. It's been brought up at a couple town meetings. It needs to get itself pushed over the finish line. I think we should be bonding it through the town. I don't think there's enough financial gain to do it through the CPC. And I just fundamentally, looking forward over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, I think this town wants to be very flexible and very nimble about how it does things. And if we're committed to hanging on to CPC at some level for 10 years or 20 years, that concerns me. I think they do great work, but I think we want to keep flexibility here, and that's why I would be advocating to go through town bonding instead of CPC.
Sounds good.
Nobody's gonna buy a bond that says CPC on the top. You buy a bond that says Manchester by the Sea on the top.
Which it would.
I mean, I bought bonds.
It
So
would say
it's
Manchester
gotta
by the Sea.
say Manchester
would.
by the Sea on the top. I mean, as much as.
I beg your pardon.
it's delightful.
Say Jack Burke.
Yeah, now there's an A tonight, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That would be about an F rating right now.
But just to restate what you said, Andrea, even if the bond were to be paid by the CPC, the bond would say Manchester.
yes, yes.
And
The town
Manchester would be-
effectively would be issuing.
Would be the
bond.
obligor.
Yes.
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 You're saying
And-
Jack's
and-
cost.
In the big picture.
Well, I think you're right, but the only issue is you give it 16-ish%
Yeah, but-
subsidy.
Well,
And
yes,
the other
but
thing-
But
the
it
other
could
thing
be
would be-
10% next year.
And the other thing is
But there could
CPC
be
does
more.
funds. I mean, they're buying $16,000 signs. And
Putting 200,000 into a,
well, that's different. That's
Never mind.
I think,
The Bobby Bats last year.
I missed that, thank God.
I wanted
Like,
to
this would
also
be, A, you get some benefit from state, and B, it kind of is a premise that people
And I-
struggle with getting stuff.
And my argument is just lower the CPC rate if you don't feel we should be spending money through CPC, that if it's not.
Yeah, that's not a bad argument, too. That's a different argument.
different.
The problem with CPC is if you have it, now you have these other things you have to put cash away from that we may or may not want to do.
Right.
So,
Or you make sure the townspeople are happy stockpiling money into certain projects when there's enough critical mass to do something like affordable housing or land acquisition or something.
Well, and
Buying a rotunda.
the bathhouse was such a priority and the beach brings in so much income. And for them to be requesting trash barrels and stuff to make their employees work easier as opposed to I wanted something more resident focused.
Right.
But I don't think that's the question we're dealing with. The question that Sarah's asked us is the question of the source of the debt source, the debt payments.
Right.
I didn't know, you know, you may have thoughts on the CPC budget.
Well, just, we want
Not the
money.
deal here, buddy.
The point was for the priority being bathhouse and not all this other stuff. But it's just too big right now.
Yeah, where do
to
you want the
deal with.
debt service to be paid? That's the question. You got two
Oh, I
choices.
town bond, yeah.
Now
not
bond.
CPC.
Okay, there you go. Got it.
Sarah, what if the CPC gave you $1 million cash over the next 3 years?
And that might happen. Anyway.
That would be fine, would reduce the amount of bond we need to issue.
Well,
Or
what I'm
could-
saying, in addition to what you have, if we gave you $200,000 at this town meeting, and then 400,000 in 27 and 400,000 in 28 before the bond payment came due, you could
Yeah.
borrow $1 million less than we're talking about right now.
Fabulous.
Correct.
Fabulous.
And that'd be fine.
Great idea.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
We'd like that.
We write that down.
Sold.
But I think we're gonna end up with being town bonds. Whatever's left from whatever.
And we just have to appropriate the whole amount up front so they can go out to bid and it doesn't hit the tax rate until we actually bond it.
I got it.
Yeah.
So do you need a
Okay.
motion to?
No, I
You
think
want the
we're
motion?
just giving
Okay.
Jack
We
input.
approved the CPC budget.
And I think Tony's probably gonna want to take it up when he gets back.
Oh, you will.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, one thing that I will say that Tony will say is that, like to John's point too, is that like you're giving up the 17%. And if you're already willing to take, 200 and 400 and 400, which is like pretty much what their budget is for the next 2 years, then what's the difference of borrowing it through CPC? If you're already gonna have the project costs from them,
Because
also.
it's not
So.
locking you in long term.
It wouldn't lock us in for 20 years.
Yeah.
If we settle, the CPC is gone tomorrow, let's just say, after we issue a bond from CPC, and we vote to get rid of the CPC, then it's our bond.
Right.
It's still under CPC though.
Right, but it's.
You
ours.
can't get rid of
It's
CPC.
town bond.
You can't get rid of CPC if you have the bond,
Why?
because CPC has to pay for it, right?
Right.
So you have
That's
to
correct.
keep CPC, which means you have to continue paying for those other things.
No,
Those
the
trash
town- the town-
barrels.
The town's gonna be on the hook for the bond. Yeah.
Fines.
No,
Regardless of where the funding's coming from.
nothing in the hook for the bond, so no one really cares if the CPC is there or not. because
I think they do,
At the end
John.
of the day, the town's gonna pay for it.
I think, isn't the CPC locked in?
It's locked in, yes.
Yeah.
But,
You can't just get rid of it.
well, you
0%.
can get rid of it. You can just dissolve it, if you will. But we would just still have to charge a CPC fee in the amount of the debt service.
So you'd still be paying CPC.
But we'd still be getting a match.
Should be paying debt service anyway. Still gotta pay the bonds.
Oh, yeah.
So,
All right,
So that's like Tony's
so we're
argument.
here.
I mean, it does get us a message here,
It does, yeah.
back to a point.
Comes out of the taxes anyway.
and we made it to the goal line.
Yes.
Excellent.
All right.
Congratulations.
Hopefully, Ann for the select board has picked up our general feelings on this.
Yeah, I know she's probably sick of our general.
Maybe
feeling.
copious oath over there.
Sarah, will you be voting on the slate that we have right here or ask us to make changes?
So where does this leave
Sounds like there are
PPP?
changes coming.
Well, I,
I'd like to make one more point if I could. With the CPC, if we, looked at those, funding schedules that we put together and we just did 1.5% for 20 years, that's not a tax increase for people. So, but if you put it outside of CPC, then that would be a tax increase. So just want to make.
Unless we pay for it with operational cuts.
It's a real estate transaction tax, right?
a debt, oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's where
it's
they get
added
state
to
funding,
our
yeah.
real estate tax CPC. is. Yeah,
Ish.
But I'm just saying, you won't see a.
Yeah. And
tax.
Right.
Exactly.
Not, yeah, relevant.
Okay.
Just another point we haven't talked about.
So Jack, are you looking for some input from us?
Well, normally, yeah,
On
I've
your
heard a
existing
couple of,
schedule?
yes,
Okay.
I would like to know if you'd support it as is or not support it as is.
So I thought you had said that you were maybe talking with some of your team about changing some of this. And we tend to kind of like to vote on hard numbers.
We're not voting, we're just giving him
Well,
input.
Oh, well,
The
okay.
on- the-
In other
Other
words,
input, right?
there's been conversation about the Affordable Housing Trust,
Yeah.
conversation about CPC.
Yep.
I mean,
Right.
Rotunda.
Right.
So do we want to make a suggestion?
I
on those
don't
two
expect
categories?
any changes. I don't expect any changes in these numbers unless you tell us you wouldn't support something.
I'd like to make a suggestion on these numbers.
Okay,
I'd suggest that the $200,000 for the housing be deferred for this year.
should it go to the Rotunda?
I'd leave that up to the CPC, but I don't think, I am persuaded by Gar's comments here that to put more money into something that, best I can tell from all the people who are better informed than I am, sounds like we have not been successful in committing the funds to build a unit or buy a unit of housing. And I'm not sure why we are taxing people to put money into a fund that seems to be administratively also difficult to work with because of the nature of state law. I hope I've captured this, but that's what I hear. So I would say CPC, I don't favor in all these numbers from CPC, the 200,000, I would not put that more money into the housing trust.
One just question for you is, they're sort of obligated to put in 56,394 as a 10% for housing. Should it be 200,000 minus that amount? So about 140,000 is what you're suggesting instead of 200,000?
Well, I'm confused about the obligation for the statutory 10%. If it's truly an obligation, then I'm yes, Maury. I don't quite understand. So what does the statutory amount get actually spent on?
No, you're not.
It is an obligation that we either must spend it or put it aside for future use.
And if you put it in the Affordable Housing Trust, it's probably gonna earn more interest than if it's sitting in CPC.
Yes.
Put in an account that.
That's correct.
This requires piece of funding in that category. So I guess we don't have it yet. So it's got to be an answer to more yes, because if it's an obligated, statutorily obligated allocation.
We just have to appropriate it or set it aside.
Right, so we
So
can
you
set
don't-
it aside until a project gets built.
It doesn't have to be,
I
sent to the Affordable Housing Trust per se.
Got it.
Yeah.
It's
I just
more
go to a
accounting.
separate line, almost like a free cash. I have like a unreserved free cash, but then I have the 3 categories. So if we don't appropriate that minimum 10%, I set it aside for that
So
specific
it's still being
purpose.
taxed taxpayers.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly right.
So put it in the trust where it earns more money than the tax.
Yeah,
funds.
okay. So Maury, you're correct. Yeah, I would take a net amount.
So we'll go to 60,000.
140.
Okay, whatever, yes, 140.
Or we recommend CPC consider going to 60.
That's right. I'm just, because I know over.
Is that what the sense of the board is?
I think so, yeah.
I think Peter is such a rational person. I agree
Do
with
we
him.
want to suggest that any
I agree.
cash amount go to the Rotunda?
I would encourage that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
As much as possible. 40,000.
I urge CPC to the extent, whenever possible, that it go to the Rotunda.
so you get that, Jack?
Yes, I'll talk to Tony on Monday. Yep.
Okay, great, thanks.
I'm not entirely sure I know everything where we've gotten, but we're gonna hear something on Monday, I get it.
Yes.
We got there.
Liaison updates. Anything?
Nothing, no for me.
Minutes from January 8th.
I move we adopt them.
Did you see the comments I sent at 6:30?
Yeah, I
Okay.
did. I saw them. And my motion pertains to them pre your comments. That is. Gail
didn't
put them
approve.
out,
Yes.
she made an adjustment. That is a revised, and that's my motion is to adopt the revised prior to your additional comments that I think I got today.
Yes. I just saw it when I got home.
I know, but I think they're appropriate in the revised draft. I don't know if anybody seconds that motion, but that's
Second the motion.
Yeah, second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I would like to discuss my so. I would have it somewhere.
See your attachment, but I don't see any red lines or anything on it.
It's down.
Oh, yeah, why is it so on the iPhone it doesn't, so let me see if I can remember what I redlined.
You put about 5 different things into it.
I had wanted to mention. Can we discuss this next week? I'll bring a hard copy, or does somebody have the red line?
And on mine,
I-
they're blue lined on mine.
Well, are your changes,
Tell us what the changes.
So-
are your changes what actually happened on the tape, or are your changes things that you wish you had said that you didn't?
No, they were things that I said that weren't like an important comment about the
I have it here.
yeah, okay.
I have the red lines here.
Don't want us to be rewriting minutes all the
No,
time.
these are important comments that were not
And I don't even want comments attached to people.
right.
I want summaries.
That's fine.
I don't want all this detail, so I don't want to be adding to the detail.
Right. I really think that someone in the committee should do the notes, to tell you the truth, because this is like, it's almost harassment. What's going on with
Dean,
these
that's an
minutes.
inappropriate comment.
Okay,
Want me to say what they were?
Yeah.
Okay. So under the parking discussion.
Yeah.
And after the last paragraph, proposed edit is Mr. Nahadas asked whether there was a period of time for the parking stick contract and whether there would be any penalties to get out of it.
I don't think that's appropriate.
you don't remember me saying that?
I don't think it has anything to do with the finance committee.
It was a question for financial information on whether we can get out of this ridiculous contract or not.
We think finance committee doesn't have anything to do with the contracts entered into by the select board.
Okay,
Yeah,
that was a comment that I wanted to make about the parking meters, okay? If you don't want to, if you want to strike it, it's your committee. But geez, it seems like for a resident to be volunteering his time and to have a comment like that be struck in, it's harassment.
Is there an answer? I don't recall if there was an answer.
nothing because it was too late.
Well, the answer was, I thought that they were gonna look into it and get back to us whether there was a penalty or not. Or what the terms of the contract was.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Okay,
Okay, let's delay review of these minutes till the next meeting.
go over it, because I felt pretty strongly that they were
It's
comments.
been seconded.
Yeah, I would.
Oh, okay, sorry, okay.
Yeah, I mean, so either you gotta vote the motion.
Okay, so Peter made a motion to approve the minutes without Dean's changes.
Right.
Right.
And who seconded it?
I second.
John seconded. Okay. So we're gonna take a vote on that.
Yes,
Okay,
Unless there's a proposed amendment to it.
and the thing I put in mine was prior to these additional comments.
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Yep, no, I get it. Yep, I'm ready.
Sorry.
Yes.
Maureen,
Yes.
Yes.
Dean,
Yes,
John,
Yes.
and Dean.
Yeah.
Sarah votes yes.
End of subject.
Okay, thank you. I've issued the agenda for the next meeting. The next meeting, we're doing Harbor, Finance Department, and then I just put a caveat, any other town departments that we have time for. And I also included on the agenda, the listed topics for the remaining meetings through March fifth.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
People have
Yeah.
that, readily available. School is,
We know the date, I think.
yes, the school is the last Thursday of the month of February,
February.
not the 19th. It's the next. It will.
No, I'm sorry, there was one thing on the minutes that was incorrect that needs to be corrected. And that was that I abstained from the minutes that I seconded that we approved. I did approve those minutes. I abstained from the minutes from the week before that I wasn't at. So that was very incorrect on these minutes, and I would like that changed.
So what minutes are you saying you did not abstain from, Dean?
The 11/20, it's right there that I seconded to approve them. And then it says that I abstained from them. And I did approve them because we made the. So it was we did 2 sets of minutes, I believe.
Do you accept that amendment to your motion?
What's the amendment? To.
Remove that I abstained, that I accepted, that we all accepted it.
So we're talking about the minutes of January 15.
I believe so, yeah.
Well, I'm looking at them.
Right.
Okay.
So.
So on the previous meeting, for that meeting,
I can read it.
yeah, okay.
So, the commentary, leading up to the proposed change, Ms. Mellish moved to approve January 8th, 26 minutes as amended. Mr. Nahadas seconded the motion passed.
So it's not these.
Often, Mr. Nahadas abstaining.
And I didn't
It's not
abstain.
15.
Right, so it says that you seconded it and then it says that you abstained, so that's a contradiction.
The minutes you're talking about are the January 8th,
Right.
not the 15th, correct?
No, he's talking about the 15th.
No, this is a note that's in the 15th minutes relative to
Excuse me.
the 8th minutes, so, yeah.
So I mean, I seconded it, so I approved it, but it was the meeting that I wasn't able to make. That I abstained from. So I think there was confusion and the tape must not be clear.
Okay.
That seems fine if it's a factual correction.
Yeah. I think so.
The adjustment's fine from my point of view in the motion,
Okay.
Okay.
if that makes any difference in terms of what anybody's vote.
Okay.
We spend entirely too much time on this stuff.
Exciting minutes.
Ridiculous.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Do I have a second? No, that's all in favor. Thank you.
This is fire, sterilizing the notes. And the infection.